You're welcome back to the show. This is our continual coverage of the NPP primaries that's ongoing. All the elections are over. The results have been trickling in. I'm here with political scientist Dr. Kwame Asante, I should say. He is a political scientist, senior lecturer at the University of Ghana's Political Science Department. Sir, thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you.
And how are you doing?
Great. Okay.
I just want to quickly announce the coronavirus, the new cases that are coming, the new figures that we're getting at the moment. We understand that 85 deaths so far has been recorded. I'll get that for you, but there's been some changes in the figures, and I'll share that with you. But though, it's interesting how the day has gone. I want to take your assessment so far.
I observed from the morning up to this time, there are pluses and minuses. I'll begin with the pluses. If you look at the conduct of the election, generally, I would say that it's free, it's fair, except that we had few incidents here and there. That is to be expected in elections. But we, as political scientists, always hope and pray that we don't even get any of them. Okay. But when these things do occur, we want our security people to stamp their feet on them. And I think the security was able to do a good job. We applaud them for that. But one thing that I get worried about is the issue that you talk about, issue of the COVID rules have been thrown to the dogs. Simply because people are winning election, they are excited. They've forgotten that there is something around our neck, the pandemic. And my worry is that looking at what Electoral Commission want to do, registering about 17 million Ghanaians. And even this is intra-party within NPP party. And you are talking about few numbers. And when you're looking at 17 million, I'm sure I can sleep. With what I saw today, it's my hope and prayer that one, the government and its machinery will look at this. And going forward, they will support the Electoral Commission to be able to do the work well. Two, it is also my hope and prayer that the EC will take a cue from this and begin to put its house in order so that it will be able to handle this situation in case we are confronted with same. And I also believe strongly that the good people of Ghana should look at it and consider that this is a serious issue so that there is no point winning election and then going home to die of COVID. It's pointless. Nobody wants this. And these are the few remarks I want to make. Okay. As we go along, other things we will touch on.
Right. There's been a massive, if you like, fall of some, what you describe behind the scenes as giants in Parliament. I'd like for us to take a look at those who have fallen out of Parliament. The new entrants, we'll be talking to some of them. Of course, we know that some have been acclaimed. No such big news there, those who have been acclaimed and going forward. And we'll be crossing over also to the NPP headquarters where my colleague Elton Bobe and MFR Power are standing by to get for you what's happening there as well. But let's look at what happened in Parliament. My colleague Joseph Opoku Gakpo, who will be joining us, wrote something. And I'd just like to go through a bit of what Joseph has said. Joseph essentially, as of 4 p.m., summed up the people who are leaving Parliament. And these are people in key positions. So here's what Joseph says. He says, Chairman of Parliament Finance Committee, Dr. Makesibe Yeboah, has lost the NPP primary in his constituency. He is number 1. Chairman of Parliament's Communications Committee, Frederick Opare Ansa, has also lost. Chairman of Parliament's Education Committee, William Kwetu, has lost. Chairman of Parliament's Legal Affairs Committee, Ben Abdallah, has lost. Chairman of Parliament's Government Assurances Committee, Collins Owusu-Amankwa, has lost. Chairman of Parliament's Youth and Sports Committee, Alex Ejekum, has also lost. And also Vice Chairman of Agriculture Committee, Ibrahim Odum, Vice Chairman of Parliament Roads Committee, and remember the government has declared this year as Year of Roads. So the Chairman of the Parliament's Roads Committee, Kofi Brako, also lost. Chairman of Parliament's Trade and Industry Committee, Ato Pamford, has also lost. So at least he was talking, and this is Joseph Opoku Gakpo's analysis from Parliament. At least 9 chairmen and vice chairmen have lost and still counting. alongside several other MPs. So these are the MPs who are not heads of any committee. There is a quick, there's news coming in that I need to let you in on. We need to go to Kumasi. Chairman Untumi is addressing a press conference, but I'd like for you to brood over what the details that I've given you from Parliament. Let's go to Kumasi right now.
Or no, and another thing kunim. Onya 238 votes, and Yura a year dakwa being for Sunya 180. That's a year if you jakwa brain no for. Enipa insia and a hot dear. Omo koko prayer because the party na yakono enti enipa no edoso ho enti afija kwa abre north eye Raymond Opoku onya aduasa Daniel Gwete ejare onunya 67 Peter Antwibo Siaku onya 23 Collins Adomako Mensa enya 93 ana Mafu Nana Achampon onunya 90 ana Samson Opoku Wari onu soso enya 19 enti yehwe mu no na yade a eye owura Collins Adomako Mensa onya 93 anu na ode wene Sayaba eye akrofo mu so a ehon so almost ne nipa nson na bebe prayer na say nipa nson bebe prayer no na Safo Abu Maswa onu na edikai awa akrofo mu onya 68 Faustina Alaba Boache onya 4 and 9 Kwabna Pobi Onosusu nya 19 George Obin Frempong onya 20 Charles Kranche Donko onya Bako 1 Francis Ajay Amponsan onya 42 and Alex Blankson onosusu nya 134 That just say Alex Blanson, no, Oba Kufuma or no, any D Kai de Ma or Snaman Yuko. Yaba Santia Chim Centra, as a swap, a horse so Nipan Yuno, and it's nae. A year Kumbent Empino Kwame and Yumadu entry, Onya 251, Anna Kofi Owusu and Cancer. Onosunya 210. Let's just say a incumbent MP no. A year Kwame and Yumadu entry. Or don't have any. Yaba Asante Achim North from Susua. And also Nipam Yuno and the Janai. I also saw and the Kwame Apia Kubi. Onunya 501. And Kwajoba Ajimai Onosusunya 1. That's just Oshemua and the Kwame Apia Kubi Onosusu na win the war Asante Achimunov. Say about Asante Achim South and Susua. Ayadea Yawo Obo or Sel Kofo Asante Achim South Onya 296. Sanso na yawo Eric Amofa onu onya 12. Ene yawo William Yamwa onu so nya 38. Yawo Edmond Opon Pepra onu so onya 9. Ene incumbent MP Honorable Kwaku Asante Boatin onu so nya 364. Na just so hwemu a incumbent MP no ana wasa win Honorable Kwaku Asante Boatin. Yaba atwema kwa nwoma so a Also nipa miensa ene gyina watwema kwa mama de odi kan aye Dr. Kwadwo Apia Kubi ono na ye MP ho onya 73 ana Kofi Amankwa Manu ono nya 410 ana Nana Kwaku Owusu Achampon ono so nya 197 eche so hwemu a Kofi Amankwa Manu ono na aba atwemo kwa nwoma ono so na owe na ye ewo NPP aye akansi a yesi ye se yakọ atwema nwabiaja north so a onso nipa mienu ene gina ye owura Frank Yeboa wonya 151 ana yewura Honorable Benito Owusu Bio ono na ye incumbent MP ono so nya 339 like say incumbent MP Honorable Benito Owusu Bio ono na awene wa atwema enwabiaja north say eba bantema so a nipa mienu ene gina wo bantema aye Francis Asenso Boache ono onya 456 ana incumbent MP Daniel Ochem Abuaje onya 122 leche so hwemu a Francis Asenso Boache ono na awene ama NPP awo bantema Jacob Smith no so a aye nipa miensa ene gina ye aye Joyce Adwa Ako Dai Bosome frɛ ho onya 76 ona ye nkuma bent MP ena Akwasi Dako Boatin onya 191 ena Peter Ajay Ajeman onso nya 140 let's say Akwasi Dako Boatin ono na awe no wo Bosome frɛ ho se ebe edwo so a enipa miensa ena no susu gina ye Kwabena Owusu Aduomi ono ye incumbent MP onya 307 ena owura John Kuma ono so enya 397 ena excuse me ena owura Abena Pokuya Amwa Boate ono so nya 5 that is how kodwo so a aye owura John Kuma ono na ewene wodwe so odi kodwo abenso so nipa mienu ene gina ye Alenza da Akwasi Opon Poku onya 184 ana incumbent MP Amba Poma Boate ono so nya 192 enti wohwemu a na incumbent MP no ono so ena wene wo gabe enti we ene nsamo a enedai eye osrama nyoku a ewo Asante Mantemu yakoto aba no we ni nipa wo munya akwanya eba ya omo babeye se omo de baba sum osono amanyoku no na se yako eye kumawu a enso so a eye nipa nan ena enso so omo etnase na kumawu no incumbent MP friend Philip Baswa onya 184 ena Dr. Philip Yaubano onya 60 ena Robert Kwame Ahomeka Lizzy ono so nya 52 ena Edward Kofi Osei ono so nya 73 that just say incumbent MP Philip Baswa ono na di nkunim awo kumawu ɛyɛ sɛ woba mampɔn a ɛnso so nipa mmiɛnsa ɛna no so wɔn so gyinaeɛ ɛyɛ Honorable Francis Adenimo onya 136 ɛna Benjamin Atta ɔno so enya 206 ɛna incumbent MP Kwaku Ampretwum Sapon onya 295 that is incumbent MP no ɔno so na awen no wɔ Asante Mampɔn sɛ woba manhyia nɔfa nipa mmienu ɛna gyinaeɛ ɔnso incumbent MP Collins Owusu Amankwa onya 276 ɛna Akwasi Konadu onya 278 lɛkyɛ sɛ wohwɛ mu a Akwasi Konadu ɔno na awene ɛwɔ manhyia north sɛ wokɔ woba manso nkwanta so a ɛhɔ so nipa enum ɛna gyinaeɛ ɛyɛ Emmanuel Ɔpɔn Boakye Yiadom onya 38 ɛna Grace Ado onya 119 Owusu Mensa onya 40 Jojo Duro onya 217 ɛna incumbent MP no nya a friend of Honorable Joseph Kwam Abet ɔno so nya 157 na kyɛ sɛ George Oduro na onya 217 no ɔno ɛna wawen no wɔ manso nkwanta sɛ woba ɛyɛ nhyiaeɛ so a nnipa mmienu na gyinaeɛ incumbent MP Kennedy Akwasi Kankan onya 315 ɛna Stephen Amwa onya 332 ɛkyɛ sɛ Stephen Amwa ɔno ɛna wadi nkunim ɛwɔ ha na Ashanti region nyinaa no yɛwɔ 47 constituencies na 47 constituencies no yɛdi nkae ato baabi a ɛhɔ no yɛbɛka no sɛ ɔfan constituencies no nti ɛhɔ no mmiɛnsa no ɛyɛ sɛkyerɛ Afram Plains ɛna yɛbɛto Asɔkɔre Mampɔn ɛna Dwira sɛkyerɛ Dumase nti ewie na aka 44 constituencies nti 44 constituencies no move 43 constituency ɛna na yɛto yɛ ɛyɛ da ɛba ekuada ɛna yɛbɛto kwada so nso so deɛ no yɛbɛto na kyerɛ sɛ Ashanti region nyinaa no ɛna subi nso so ɛyɛ adeɛ a nipa mmienu na gyinaeɛ na ɛyɛ incumbent MP no ɔno ɛna ɔno na ɛwe ne yɛ ɛyɛ Honorable Eugene Antwi ɔno na egyina no ɛde ama yɛ nti aka baako ɛyɛ kwada so nti da ukuada yi no na yɛayɛ kwada so deɛ no ɛde afiri hɔ yɛwie kwada so deɛ no a na kyerɛ sɛ ɛyɛ adeɛ a ɛkwan biara so na Ashanti region no yɛwie saa ne nyinaa no ɛde afiri hɔ na yɛduru nsuta kwaman bepɔ so na yɛkɔ nsuta kwaman bepɔ so a hɔ so nipa mmiɛnsa ɛna ɔmo so gyina wɔ nsuta kwaman bepɔ so ɛyɛ MP a wɔ hɔ yɛfrɛ no Kwame Asafo Agye ɔno so onya 170 ɛna Alhaji Kofi Bɛyɛ ɔno so nya 107 ɛna Awura Adelaide ya Ajima Intim ɔno so nya 268 na kyerɛ sɛ Awura Adelaide ya Ajima Intim ɔno na wene wɔ ɛyɛ nsuta kwama bepɔ so saa nso na yɛde ba Obuase so Obuase East so a nipa mmiɛnsa ɛna gyinaeɛ ɛyɛ Enoch Anhwere Afoakwa onya 159 Anna the autosumi no ye somewhere akosi wusu bawia onusunya 55. Anna Dr. Patrick Boachi Yado aye incumbent MP no onusunya 263. That is incumbent MP no and so oba oboase Easter onusunya 5. Sanso na oba oboase Wester Faustina Opon Safo onya 45. Kwaku Ajima Kwatin on incumbent MP onya 383. Anna Godfred Benin on Susunya 134. That is incumbent MP. Honorable Kwaku Ajima Kwatin on Nenya 383 to Awene. Saoba ayo to breeze so Anthony Mie on Suso onya 305. Anna incumbent MP aye Emmanuel Akwasi Jamfi ono susunya 369 enti na just incumbent MP no oba odoto bra incumbent MP no ana owene abano sanso na oba aye offenso south so a department na gina Edesmond Chris Apia onya 43 ana Dr. Azik Yaw Opoku ono sunya 473 and incumbent MP Ben Honorable Ben Abdallah Banda Onusunya 166. Let us say Dr. Azekiel Opoku wonya 473. So call offenso South ono ena awene. Saso ena oba ofoluku mususu Emmanuel Yaw Adu Amankwa wonya 346. Saso na incumbent MP Honorable Emmanuel Mafo onya 545. Let's just say incumbent MP and no so Emmanuel Mafo ono na awene oba otafon so a also dipa 6 and also so omugina ye Vincent Ekwawo Ensafua Junior otafo pankrono
That's Chairman Wuntumi for you there, live from Kumasi. He was just going through details of the constituencies there, 45 of them, or in his region, he says, and he was going through the constituencies one after the other. But there are very interesting details coming up. Our correspondent, Nanaya Aljuma, will be joining us to give us more of that details, apparently. So he mentioned Eugene Boachi entry as winner of the elections despite EC's absence and a court order on that particular election. But our correspondent will give us more when he joins us shortly. Dr. Saro, you've been talking about how it's been generally, from your perspective, free and fair. But there have been issues of imposition of people, which started from when the campaigns to this election itself started in the first place. To what extent do you believe that people can accept the results? Some of them have conceded, of course. Some have not. Some are still in court. To what extent can people accept it as, what is and move on?
In political science, when we talk about election, we have three phases. Pre-election phase, from the day of the campaign up to yesterday. Then we have the election phase, that's today, and post-election. And we are saying that how you manage all these three phases, especially the post-election phase, where people have lost elections, they are in pain. How is the party going to deal with that? There must be a program in place to address these concerns. Otherwise, you are going to deepen the wounds of the party, and that you are going to have people going as independent candidates. Some also will vote skirt and blouse, and some will even leave the party and join others. The problem started from day one when they started the campaign, and you get the impression that people didn't know that somewhere along the lines they will impose candidates in certain constituencies. So they were very uncomfortable. And when the process rolled for a little while, you saw people complaining. They were ready to submit their papers for nomination and all that, and they refused. And it raised a whole lot of problems and all that. Yeah. The party found a way of handling it. I thought the way they handled it was not the best. But hey, they went through it as if the case had died down and all that. And then they moved into this level. And now you are seeing people who have lost and they are not ready to accept defeat. One principle of our election is that as soon as you go through and you lose election, you have to accept defeat and abide by the rules of the game. You go and prepare and come back. But if the people believe that there was no equal playing field, then you have a problem. They are not ready to going to accept that defeat. And this is where they will challenge the party and all that. I believe that the party, since it's an intra-party problem, the party elders should be able to put all of them together on a round table, discuss the issues with them, and then they move on with that. If there are people who are not satisfied, let them also use the legal processes so that the whole pain will be terminated somewhere along the line. But if they leave that one unaddressed or unattended to, it's going to have a difficulty on how the party will be able to garner votes in the constituency, because these people are going to stand against the party within the constituency so that they will do everything possible to get votes to other parties or other individuals so that they pay them back, so to speak.
Well, earlier this morning, Dr. Sam Jonah was here on the show. He indicated that if you look at this election, there has been too many, what he called, these are his words, too many unopposed candidates. He thought that was a bit undemocratic. But wouldn't you rather say that if you look at the ability of the party to negotiate, because if you don't negotiate, for those places where negotiations have fallen apart, you see that the people come up with court cases, with injunctions, and they go out in the media, cases and all of that. So what did you say rather that it's as a result of the party's ability to negotiate with candidates, to step aside, for people to go unopposed, to champion a certain agenda? Isn't that more of a party that shows democratic principles?
If you want to look at these things, there are two perspectives. One perspective is that the party is saying that there are rules that govern the party. And one of the rules is that they can select candidates or they can elect candidates or they can do the two. And so if they chose that path of selection, that is where you impose candidates on people, you let them go unopposed. That is form of what? Selection. All right. Democracy allows for this type of freedom to exist in the party, provided it is something that the party has accepted to go with it. But if it is not something that is part of their rules, then it comes in as a surprise. And obviously, people will rebel, people will kick against it, and you'll see the expression in various forms. The other aspect is that democracy hinges on election. Election is nothing but what the periodic selection of people through this process to get them to hold political positions. That is the only power that the electorate they have, the power to decide who should lead them at a point in time. So if the party that they serve decide that we are going to take this power from you, then you're going to raise an eyebrow in this process. And that's what you are seeing now. For me, when my difficulty is that just some few years ago, NPP criticized the NDC for going to Swedro to just acclaim Professor Mills. They were saying that that's not democratic. But what are we seeing here? Is it double standard or what? But
would you say the dynamics are the same? I mean, here is your sitting president. I mean, he's a sitting president. You don't need an angel to tell you that he's going to, unless there is an issue of ill health, you don't need an angel to tell you that he's going to contest in the next election.
That is where let's put the president's one aside and look at even the MPs, where you are imposing candidates. As soon
the party has said, just so they were not, the party has said that they did not impose candidates.
But they negotiated.
Yes, but they said that they negotiated. They spoke to they had, backroom conversations with people who wanted to compete in places they thought shouldn't be
whatever competed. It is. I've talked about one perspective. The other perspective is that the ordinary man will not understand whether you had backrooms conversation and whatnot, negotiation. No, all that he believes in is that you have taken his power out of his hand, and that he has to show something to you. And that is how he will vote to tell you that this is the lines I'm voting. But you see, I as a political scientist, I'm not comfortable if you have a number of them going unopposed. The danger is that you start with a smaller number. This year we're having 66. Who knows, the next election you are going to have 120. History has it in this country that Kwame Nkrumah at a point in time also took this path and it didn't end well. There were people who were not members of certain constituency. He brought them to stand election and people didn't know them. The time they realized they were there. And they say, these are the people, go and vote for them. A typical example was Eko Swansea, who was an Nzema man, was brought to Bunsu, Achem, to stand for election and all that. Can you imagine that? These are things when you do, you sow the seed of pain in the heart of people, and they want to pay you with your own coin. And I believe that this path is too slippery for the NPP to walk on, because a time will come that people will not take this. And that's where you see them moving into other political parties, joining other parties. We are saying that let the people be subjected to elections. If they have really performed their role as MPs, what is the duty of an MP? There are a lot, but one that is important in this conversation is the MP plays the role as a representative of his people. He represents their interests and represent them in Parliament. You go to constituencies and go and listen to their concerns. You bring it to the doorsteps of government. And then you also represent them in Parliament with their problems so that government will address them. Some people come to Parliament and they don't go back to their constituencies. And this is the time that the letter is saying that you have not served us, and that go home or come home. And where is the pain? And for me, when I see these things, what it tells you is that there is a problem.
Okay.
The problem is that people are dissatisfied with the performance of the MP. Or there is a problem with government policies and programs, which they expect government reps, that is the MPs, to push in a certain direction that will inure to the benefit of the constituents, which they are not getting. Okay. So the expression is that, let me kick you out and see who comes in will be able to deliver the good. Okay. The other thing is also that you tend to see this situation and then you realize that, hey, then the party must be able to sit down and address certain problems carefully as they are going for the general election.
Okay, because that's a part of the conversation that we'll have eventually. But Doc, I want you to think of this. I'm bringing in my colleague who I was going to say represents us in Parliament, Joseph Opoku Gakpo, who reports for us from Parliament. I was sharing with you his own analysis, yes. I think as at about 4 p.m. But Doc, whilst I engage Joseph, I want you to think of this question for me. Could there have been, looking at what we are seeing in Parliament, a number of them falling, could there have been more of that casualty should the unopposed approach taken by the party had been challenged successfully at the beginning, so that if they did not allow people to go unopposed, could we, what are the possibilities that we could have seen a lot more of these casualties? But let me bring in Joseph. Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Joseph, are you there?
I can hear you, Gifty. Can you hear me?
Great, great. I see you there. So Joseph, I don't know how many people you have added to the list, but it was about, when I counted the number of people you had in your list as of 4 p.m., we had about almost 20 of them.
It's now inching towards 40 in terms of the incumbent MPs who have lost. And the response to the question you asked about whether some candidates, if they had not been made to go unopposed, the situation would have been different. Obviously, the answer is yes, because some of the results are really shocking. Including the likes of how come Frederick Kopere and some of the Suhum constituency are losing their seats, and a number of others. It then gives the indication that for a lot of those who were eventually protected and not allowed to go into the race, the story could have been different if they had gone into the race. From the counts that we've done, we've counted about 9 different chairmen of various committees losing their seats, as well as 3 different vice chairmen, and then 3 different ministers. And so, that takes it to something in the region of about 15 people, including 9 chairmen, 3 vice chairmen of various committees, and 3 ministers and deputy ministers losing their seats, which obviously then raises a lot of issues. The argument I've been making is that I'm convinced that the work in Parliament itself, in terms of how it gets done over the next 6 months, will substantially be affected to a very large extent. You would recall that over the last 3 years, the opposition has actually been giving government a very good run for its money in Parliament in terms of how the minority MPs are always raising issues, criticizing government, analyzing government policies, punching potholes, addressing media briefings virtually on daily basis. For a very long period, we saw a situation where the government folks were sitting back and insisting that in government you don't talk too much, you don't overanalyze issues, you don't respond to everything. But since the fourth session of Parliament began earlier this year, we've seen the majority step up their responses to the minority in terms of analysis, debate, even outside the floor of Parliament itself, and analyzing the issues and all. So you recall, for example, just a few days ago, we had the Defense and Interior Committee Chairman, Seth Champong, who has lost his seat, responding to Kwabena Mintah Kando in a number of press conferences. Chairman has been doing a number of press conferences. So for the last 6 to 8 months, we've seen the majority step up to the plate and debating the government, the minority boot for boot, and speaking more and all. And with what we've seen happen, and a number of them, including chairman and vice chairman, virtually losing their seats, I'm imagining how morale will be dipped to a very large extent and create a situation where a lot of them will not really be bothered about coming to Parliament and taking time off to virtually match the minority boot for boot. And to a large extent, I foresee it's affecting not just debate and getting government business done on the floor, but even outside the floor of Parliament, analyzing issues and virtually responding to the minority and taking them on going into the next election.
It's interesting analysis you make there, Joseph. Already we have an issue of absenteeism in Parliament. So it obviously doesn't look good. But is this a question I want to put to all of you? I'm starting with you, Joseph. Who are you most surprised? I mean, whose loss are you most surprised with?
A number of them look very surprising. I think I'm most surprised with the loss of Bernard Delabanda, the MP for Finsu North, who is the chairman of the Legal Affairs Committee in Parliament. So you recall that when the issues about cases, becoming a big deal in the constituency and all, and the folks saying they won't allow him to go unopposed, he stepped up himself and said, bring on the contest. I'm ready. Don't disqualify anybody. Bring the people and I'm going to defeat them. That gave me a certain wild impression that he virtually had, all the angles covered. He had his feet on something, which was how come he was saying that. And then he goes into the race and then he loses. For me, that's virtually the biggest shock. Some of them, a lot of people saw coming. The last race between Dr. Marcus Beyeboa and his contender, the CEO of the Free Zones Authority, had them virtually splitting by just 8 votes. Then they went into the constituency elections, and a lot of the executives in the constituency were booted out, and fresh faces were brought in. That gave the indication the seats may be swinging out of Asibeyeboa's hands. So that wasn't very much surprising. Frederick Opariansa is another surprise. He's been considered as one of the formidable forces in the Eastern Caucus in the Eastern region, because then he virtually has all sides covered. He has his boots on the ground. He's been in Parliament for a while. He's reportedly helped a number of other Eastern region folks when it comes to campaigning and all. And then it turns out that the chairman of the Communications Committee loses. William Kwetu, the chairman of the Education Committee, not very surprising because of the person he came up with. And then the other surprise is Seth Champong, the chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee, who is also the MP for Mprai. So again, one guy who's been around, the indication was that he had virtually everything covered, but that was not meant to be. We wait to see how all of them would work, even as Parliament resumes sitting this coming Tuesday. Okay.
Joseph, hang on for me. I'll come back to you. My colleague Raymond Akwa will also be joining us for all the way from the United Kingdom. But I still have here Dr. Asante. Doc, I just want to find out from you again, back to my question. Could they have, you've had the analysis that Joseph has to make. These are people who have acquired knowledge, and we'll talk about the impact of their absence and their morale from now till the next election. But could there have been, you think, what are the chances that there could have been many more of these casualties we've seen?
I hold the view that if we had allowed, the party had allowed them to contest, we would have seen a number of them going down. Yes, simply because once you see the trend, it has a bigger picture that the party must look at critically. then it means there is dissatisfaction somewhere. There's a problem somewhere. The party is not doing something right. And that there's a general feeling that some people are being in parliament and we're not seeing the best in them, and that we need to kick them out. Once you see that, the party must begin to look back and re-strategize.
So in hindsight, would you say that the party actually saw this coming? So the party has actually done its work, and so they saw it coming, and they tried to salvage the situation with a little.
Oh, I am sure the party saw that, because you saw some of the places that people were going unopposed from the word go. People started resisting them. Yeah. That no, let us walk them through elections. Please don't protect them. And the party said no. They came with all manner of arguments.
In fact,
and
the majority leader was one of the people who made a lot. I mean, who was vehemently opposed to.
Yes. It tells you that there's something wrong somewhere, and that's why the party came in with that type of decision that yes, it's part of the remit of what we do, and that we can select or elect. So once we've selected, we are good to go and all that. There was a certain simmering tension which they gloss over. And so the few people who are allowed to contest, you've seen they've incurred the wrath of the voters. And that is, and as they are going forward, they have to be very careful, because if they don't deal with that problem now, it's going to translate in another form of voting in the election. It may not be too well for them, and they have to look at these things.
Can we take a look at absenteeism? Joseph indicates that he's been in Parliament every day that Parliament has been sitting. I mean, virtually every day that Parliament has been sitting. And we've had a big issue with absenteeism of members of Parliament. They don't show up because they have to be in the constituency. Some of them are ministers, so they have to go and work. And now you know that I'm out. Really, there's nothing to lose, essentially. He's thinking that we're going to see a lot more of this absenteeism. We may have people on the floor of Parliament who will not necessarily contribute meaningfully to discussions on the floor of Parliament. What do you see?
Yeah, all these things happen in Parliament all the time. As soon as people lose election, some of them don't want to even contribute to the discussion on the floor of the House, because after all, how many days do I have left to be in Parliament? There are some people who say that, look, the people brought me, and if they are calling me, why not? I'll still do the work that I'm supposed to do, so that when the time comes, I'll bow out peacefully. And some also have the plan of coming back another time. Okay. So they want to leave a good imprint, so that when they are coming back, it becomes so easy for them to come back. But you see, whether there is going to be absenteeism or not, please, it shouldn't surprise anybody. This has been a feature of parliamentary business. I was a reporter in Parliament many years, working for Ghanaian Chronicle, and I saw this, a lot of them, all right?
They were not coming to Parliament.
Oh, some were not coming, and at a point in time, Mr. Peter Alajete had to, speak vehemently against that and all that. Once a while, these things come up. But you see, Parliament has its own correcting measure, a way of dealing with these problems. And when they see that you are really a truant, voters will kick you out. This is one of the way that voters, or one of the means by which voters correct these things. They see that, you don't show up, okay, and the message gets to the constituency, they'll throw you out, because you are there to represent them, their interests, their opinion, and you don't show your face there simply because you are doing government business. Yes, government business matters, but you also remember that we put you there to represent us.
But if they see you do government business and they feel the impact on the ground, they will still keep you there.
Yeah, they can pardon you. But if you don't go to the constituencies, that's another headache for them. And that is what, so by and large, I'm telling you that there is something wrong, that the party must look at it and fix it before they go for the 2020 elections, because this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning.
And the road to 2020, the road to December 2020 elections is one of the biggest parts of our conversation, which we'll have. Joseph, I'm coming to you with your thoughts on, I'm looking at the profile of the people who are leading Parliament. So we have the Finance Committee, Chairman of the Finance Committee. Our finances is a big deal. We have an economic issue that we've been talking about. It's been a main issue in the elections over the years that we've talked about. So we have a government that has promised, healing our economy. An economy, they say they inherited debt. So it's important. We have a finance committee person here. We have a communications committee. One of the things that people have accused the NPP or NDC of doing was that they did not communicate properly the things that they did, which is why they lost the election. So you have a communications person there as well on the committee. And on the committee, you have someone like Sam Jata George, who is no mean a person to reckon with when it comes to communication. So you have the head also getting out. So if you want to talk about morale there, then there's education. I mean, these are key part of our social life. Finance, communication, education, government assurances committee. I mean, that's a big one.
Friend,
yes, that's a big one. I mean, legal affairs, yes, but I mean, look at these profiles, and then look at agriculture committee. One of the biggest trumpets that the government has blown is planting for food and jobs, and the strides they say they've made in agriculture. Look at the roads committee. This year has been declared a year of roads. Okay, so you have that person also going, and then there's trades and industry, and it goes on and on. Joseph, I'm coming to you. Your thoughts.
It's very interesting. So let's, for example, cite a typical example with what happened recently. If you recall, the constitutional instrument of the Electoral Commission that Parliament voted on the Special Legislation Committee's report on, very much along party lines, on whether the House should greenlight it for it to get the approval. Now, in Parliament, there are 275 seats. The majority has 169, the NPP has 169, and the minority, the NDC, has 106. Now, when Parliament voted on that particular CI, Gifty, you recall, of course, it was split along party lines. We had 106 majority MPs present in the House to cast their votes. And then we had 92 minority MPs present in the House to cast their votes. Now, out of the 169 majority MPs, 106 of them showed up to vote. Out of the 106 minority MPs, 92 of them showed up to vote. So this ended up being something that a decision was taken on in a very close call of just 14 votes. Although when you do the mathematics, the majority has actually more than 63 seats more than the minority. But when...
Okay, so Joseph, I need to interrupt you there because I foresee where this conversation is going. We won't finish right now, but we need to just quickly break at this point and do our news highlights, Joynews Prime, and bring people the highlights of what has happened during the day. So Joseph, don't go away. Let's hang on for me. We'll come back and then we'll continue this discussion. It's getting very interesting for me. And anybody who is interested in all these parts of our socio-economic life should be interested in this part of the conversation. So let's do Joynews Prime now. It is indeed our coverage of the aftermath of the NPP primaries. You know, we are your election headquarters.